Well, hello there. Okay. Sure, we're all good here. Pretty sure we are. All right, so get this back up. We did this page, I believe. So we did extract that. Scroll down here. Looks something like that. That's true. We took out the redundant. Yeah, there. Just like so. All right, so next. I can leave this over here, I think, for now. Okay, so app works and occasionally even provides interesting word pairs. Whenever the user clicks next, each word pair disappears forever. It'd be better to have a way of remembering the best suggestions, such as a like button. So we go into the app state. Let's do that a little bit there and get this out of the way too. App state. And we have our get next, and down below that, we do favorites, which is it's like a list of type, a list of word pair types. And then we write a function here for toggling. We need parens here. Contains current, which we do up here. Then we do remove the current, else we add it. Makes sense. And then we also need to notify listeners to make sure that things get updated, right? Because down here we have is it here? We take the context. No, it was up. Up here. Change notifier provider wraps all this. So that's where we listen. Or where the framework listens, I guess I should say. Okay, so that's all that. Examine the changes. You added a new property to my app state called favorites. Yes, we did. Let's go back up there. Oh, this should be there. Okay. Added a new property to my app state called favorites. This property is initialized with an empty list, right? Also specified that the list can only ever contain word pairs, right? Using generics. Let's take a look at the docs for Dart generics, just because we're here. This is not generics. This is just a link to the docs. Dark mode, please. List with a type inside of there. Generic or parameterized type. Type that as a formal type parameters. By convention, most type variables have single letter names such as E, T, S, K, and V. Okay. And for list only continually strings, you can declare it as list string like we do there. List of string. Here's an example. Gives an error. Interface for caching an object. Abstract class, okay. Discover that you want a non-string specific version of this interface, so you create another interface. String cache. Number specific, okay. Or we can do the type. Make it more generic. Type get by key, string key. Set by key, string key. Okay. Display tree map. Integer keys and values of type view. Okay. We have an is to check types. Okay. The types call the bound extends. Type is not null. We'll make a subtype of object instead of default object. Okay. Question mark means it could be null, I think. Extends other types. Some base class. So that the members of some base class can be called on objects of type T. Instance of foo is T. Okay. Okay. Get into that a little more later, perhaps. Okay, but let's push on here. Okay, so we did that. This helps make your app more robust. Or refuses to even run your app if you try to add anything other than word pair to it. Makes sense. Turn, you can use the favorites list, knowing there can never be any unwanted objects like null hiding in there, which is nice. Dirt has collection types other than list expressed with brackets. You could argue to the set. Make more sense for collection of favorites. Make this code as straightforward as possible. Sticking with the list. Okay. New method, toggle favorite, right? In either case, we call notify listeners afterwards. Okay, now we add the button. Be done here, I think. Like button to the left of the next button requires a row. Okay. The row widget is the horizontal equivalent of a column. Makes sense. Wrap the existing button in a row. My homepage's build method. Cursor on the elevated button. Don't think we don't have the ability to do that refactoring, but that's fine. We want to understand better anyway. We would need to do row. I believe it would end there, comma. This becomes body. No. Is it children? No. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, it is children. We just need to put it inside of a button, inside of a list. Down there, save, it'll do the formatting for us. Tidy that up. Okay. But we also need to do, double check here. When you save, you'll notice that row X, similarly to column, by default, it lumps its children to the left. So there we are over there. Column lumped its children to the top. Makes sense, right? The starting point. Fix this, you could use the same approach as before, but with main axis alignment. However, for didactic learning purposes, use main axis size. This tells row not to take all available horizontal space. Okay. But, oh, there it is. Main axis size. I put that in the wrong place. Main axis size. Size is min. And then we do that. And then we whoop, get back over there. Add the like button and connect it to toggle favorites. Okay, for a challenge, try to do this by yourself without looking at the code block below. Good. Good, good, good. So, we need another child here. It should be the same. It's an elevated button. On pressed, we do app state dot toggle favorite. Let's get these guys spaced out a little bit better. And then child is a text element because we need favorite. I guess like is what we should be doing. They have. Can I do children here? Just out of curiosity. I don't think I can. They have a an icon in here. Icon. It's broken. Can I just do heart? No. Icons dot favorite. There we go. Okay. So we would need to do in here another row. Maybe. I'm just kind of YOLO in that. We're missing a paren. And then that would give us, except in this little picture, this comes first. So we just need to move. Yoink. Put you down there instead. And I would like a little bit of space in there. I'd like this to be back like this too. Okay, I guess it's gonna auto format that. Okay, we'll leave it there. I would like a little bit of space, and we got space vertically. It was a non. Oh, what was it called? It'd be in big card padding text. It was no, it'd be up in homepage because it goes between the two widgets. My homepage, right here. Scaffold. sized box. Okay, let's try that. If I do that, will you let me space this out nicely? I could turn that off, but like, why, right? Here we do sized box, and we do width, I guess 10, just to see where that leaves us. Forgot a comma. Okay, that puts it back there, which we like. There, gives a little space there. I would also like a little bit of space between these buttons, I think. So we'll throw in another sized box there. I like that. That's good. Is that the approach they want me to take? Don't know. Let's find out. It's okay if you don't want to do it exactly the same way as it's done below. In fact, don't worry about the heart icon unless you really want a major challenge. Well, I don't know if I'd call that major, but we YOLO'd it. Here's one way to add the second button to my homepage. Elevated button.icon constructor. Okay. So, I mean, we did it. Just not right. So we do icon here. And then on pressed app state toggle. Oh, this should be a function call. Oh, it's an anonymous function call. I guess we could have tested that, but can't I dot icon on pressed semicolon comma icon icon. There must be, that's what I'm missing. Icon data is icon. Wait, why did we put... Oh, I see. Okay. So up here, what they're doing... So it's still in the build. Down here is an icon. If the favorites contains the pair that we have currently, then we do icon equals icons dot favorite. Otherwise, icon is icons dot favorite border, which will be, as we can see here, an empty heart. Makes sense. Okay, so we put that in there. This is still broken somehow, but we fixed that. Label text like that. That needs a comma. And then we don't have, it's children. That's the row, children. There are no there's no child in this. So all of this goes away. Like so. They did use the sized box. Okay, we still got something wrong here though. We got one too many. Close brackets, there we go. They did use the size box width between them, just like we did actually. So just the, just this. Looks more or less the same, except for this is not, and now it is. Perfect. Love that. Unfortunately, the user can't see the favorites. It's time to add a whole separate screen to our app. See you in the next section. Okay, good. Fantastic. Love it. Okay. Most apps can't fit everything into a single screen. Makes sense. This particular app probably could, but for didactic purposes, you're going to create a separate screen for the user's favorites. To switch between the two screens, you're going to implement your first stateful widget. Okay. Get the meat of this step as soon as possible. Split my homepage into two separate widgets. Select all of my homepage, delete it, replace it with the following code. Oh, I don't want to do that. That's less educational. So this is still stateless, still override, build context. Here's what we're going to do. Did one too many. This whole scaffold, we're going to comment out. I'm still missing. This also needs to be commented out, actually. And this. Okay. So build now. Where are you? You're that. Let's just delete that guy. We'll put him here. Build now for homepage. Override widget build. Everyone says Flutter is dead. Big company and I use Flutter. Cool. I don't really care what everybody says. Return scaffold. Body row. In here, children. We have. I'm missing something there. It's fine. Safe area. That's a new thing. It does have a child, though. Navigation rail. That's going to be our side box, I think. I think I need a comma there, too, probably. Okay, so navigation rail extended is false. Destinations is a list. Navigation rail destination. Space this out a little bit. It'll probably change some of this when we save, but that's okay. Icon is our icons home. Where are we getting? What do you think about Kotlin multi-platform? Haven't done it. Oh, because this is icon, not icons. There we go. And then it has a label, which is a text widget. And this is our favorites. And then selected index is going to be 0 for this, which I assume is our children. Or our navigation rail, rather. Destinations, right? So then we also have a second one, navigation rail destination. Space you out real quick. Let's see here. Also has an icon. It is icons dot favorite. It also has a label, which will be a text widget. I messed up. This one is home, not favorites. There we go. Save that real quick. Okay, so then we have a comma there. We close that. Selected index is 0. On destination selected value print selected value like so. And then that we need to, this is close that, close navigation rail, close safe area, expanded widget, child, container, color, theme of the context, color scheme, primary container, and then generator, which doesn't exist yet, but that's fine. We put that in, close that and that. Okay, they'll tidy that up for us real quick. And then the generator page, I think, is basically our entire old widget here. So this is extends stateless. We put you there, and then we can take all this. Whoop, there we go. I'm missing something here. Extends stateless widget. Am I missing? That's that. Generator page is not. I'm missing a, no? Why are you so unhappy? Concrete implementation of abstract class stateless widget extends widget.build. Oh, right, because we took this out. We reused this line, or these lines, I should say. Duh. Build context. Context. And then we put you in here. Then let's double check. We do need one more closing bracket there. Let's go just double check here, make sure that everything's good. Context watch my app state. There, icon data is icon still. We still do that. Return center. Oh, it's not a scaffold anymore. Okay. We return center. And we get rid of that. Have a little beverage. Okay. Child is still column, still centered. Children, big card, sized box, row. Still using in excess size, children, elevated button icon, toggle favorite, icon, text, sized box. Yes. Child text next. Everything is good. We have our little sidebar here, but it doesn't work. Clicking the heart in navigation. Okay. Perfect. Just says selected down there, which we expect. We didn't do anything with it. We just printed. I'm pretty sure well, we should go through here just because. Entire contents of homepage is extracted to a new widget. Yep, generator page. We did notice that. The only part that didn't get extracted is scaffold. Doesn't tell us why. New my home page contains a row with 2 children. First widget is safe area. Second is an expand widget. We did note that. Safe area and expanded. Safe area ensures that its child is not obscured by a hardware notch or status bar. Oh, I see. For like phones. In this app, the widget wraps around navigation rail to prevent the navigation buttons from being obscured by a mobile status bar, for example. Okay. You can change the extended false line in navigation rail to true. Let's do that. Navigation rail extended. Oops. That'll expand it to show the text. Yep. We'll put that back if I could type. In a future step, you learn how to do this automatically when the app has enough horizontal space. Okay, cool. So there's like some responsive design there. Navigation rail has 2 destinations, home and favorites, with their respective icons and labels. It also defines the current selected index. Selected index of 0 selects the first destination. A selected index of 1 selects the second destination, and so on. Right. For now, it's hard-coded to 0. Right. Navigation rail also defines what happens when the user selects one of the destinations with on destination selected. Yes. That's our print. Right now, the app merely outputs the requested index value with print. Right. Second child of the row is the expanded widget. Expanded widgets are extremely useful in rows and columns. They let you express layouts where some children take only as much space as they need, safe area in this case. And other widgets should take as much of the remaining room as possible. Expanded in this case. Okay, so this is just telling it to grow that one as big as possible. Expanded widgets, one way to think about expanded widgets is that they are greedy. If you want to get rid of feel of the rule in this widget, try wrapping the safe area widget with another expanded. The resulting layout looks something like this. That would make like a 50-50 split. I don't care to do that. I understand it, I think. 2 expanded widgets split all the available horizontal space between themselves, even though the navigation rail only really needed a little slice on the left. Wonder if you can toggle that. Just thinking about the UI for the skills and attributes. Inside the expanded widget, there's a colored container, and inside the container, the generator page. Right. That's why this is now very much a much more limey green, where it was kind of pale before. Stateless versus stateful widgets. Okay. Till now, my app state covered all your state needs. That's why all the widgets you have written so far are stateless. Okay. So the widget itself is stateless, but it uses state still? Because we watch my app state. Kind of weird. They don't contain any mutable state of their own. Okay. None of the widgets can change itself. They must go through my app state. Okay. This is about to change. You need some way to hold the value of the navigation rail's selected index. You also want to be able to change this value from within the on destination selected callback. Okay. You could add selected index as yet another property of the my app state. Pardon me. And it would work. But you can imagine that the app state would quickly grow beyond reason if every widget stored its values in it. Right. Little sad eyes if everything goes in there. Makes sense, right? Your root state gets bloated. Some state is only relevant to a single widget, so it should stay with that widget. Makes sense. Enter the stateful widget, a type of widget that has state. Duh. First, convert my home page to a stateful widget. Okay. My home page. Stateful widget. Guess we'll have to do some more stuff to it. Place cursor on the first line of my home page. Call to refactor. Convert to stateful widget. I don't think I can do that. Let me just... Oops. Wrong button. I don't think... Yeah, I can only extract. That's fine. We'll change that. IDE creates a new class for you, underscore my homepage state. Okay. This class extends state and can therefore manage its own values. It can change itself. So notice that the build method from the old stateless widget has moved to the my homepage state instead of staying in the widget. We're gonna have to look at the actual code here. I wonder why my IntelliSense doesn't have all those, because that refactoring sounds kind of useful, but kind of dig into that a little bit later maybe. Smooth verbatim, nothing inside the build method changed, and it now merely lives somewhere else. Okay. The underscore at the start of underscore my homepage state makes that class private and is enforced by the compiler. Okay. The new stateful widget only needs to track one variable, selected index, make the following 3 changes. We need to make some more first. So. This needs to be, and then this is actually my home page. Except for we can't just directly do that. I need you to show me more Cody codes so that I can understand, because you decided to tell me to use a refactoring instead of teaching me. Okay. So what we do is we say my homepage extends stateful widget. This guy has an override state my homepage create state hey funk you my homepage state, and then that gets this name and it extends state my homepage like that. So this extends state my homepage. Syntax is a little bit funky there. So the my homepage class extends stateful widget. This extends a state of the type my homepage. Think I understand, kind of. Let's push on. Okay, so, and then here they're saying our selected index, we're setting it to 0. And then the selected index down here children's safe area right here. This is if I could type, it would really help. There we go. Selected index is now this var. And then set state, or on destination selected value, we take this out and we say set state. It's still a callback. Selected index equals value. And then semicolon that. Okay. Introduce a new variable, selected index, initialize it to 0. You use this new variable in the navigation rail. And yeah, right there. Definition instead of the hard-coded 0 that was there until now. On destination selected callback is called. Instead of merely printing a divided console, you assign it to the selected index inside a set state call. It's called similar to the notify listeners method used previously and make sure that the UI updates. Okay, good to know. Navigation rail now responds to user interaction, but the expanded area on the right stays the same. That's because the code isn't using selected index to determine what screen displays. Okay. So our selection works. It just doesn't drive anything. Makes sense. Following code at the top of my homepage states build method just before return scaffold. Okay. Widget. Page. Switch. Selected index. Page. Oops. I need case first. Case 0. Page is the generator page. And then break. Case 1. Page is placeholder. Break. Default throw. Unimplemented error. Okay, good. No widget for selected index. Not a great error message, but that's fine. We'll go with it. Unnecessary break. Okay, that's fine. I don't know why it's unnecessary. Code declares a new variable page of the type widgets. Switch statement assigns the screen to page. Makes sense. Did I miss anything up here? No. According to the current value in selected index, since there's no favorites page yet, use placeholder, a handy widget that draws a crossed rectangle wherever you place it, marking that part of the UI as unfinished. Okay. Oh, we don't use it yet. Applying the fail fast principle, the switch statement also makes sure to throw an error if selected index is neither 0 nor 1. Okay. Helps prevent bugs down the line. If you ever add a new destination to the navigation rail and forget to update this code, the program crashes in development. As opposed to letting you guess why things didn't work or letting you publish a buggy code into production. Well, what if it's not in development? What about that? Now that page contains the widget you want to show on the right, you can probably guess what other changes needed. Yeah, we need to do this needs to be page, I bet. Let's find out. Yeah. Yep. That's exactly what needs to happen. Okay. And then there's our placeholder. That's pretty slick, actually. App now switches between our generator page and the placeholder that will soon become the favorites page. Okay. Next, make the navigation rail responsive. That is to say, make it automatically show the labels using extended true when there's enough room for them. Okay. Flutter provides several widgets that help you make your apps automatically responsive. Okay. Pop. For example, wrap is a widget similar to row or column, and we have wrap in here somewhere. That was in my the generator page, right? No. I thought we had wrap in here. Oh. I must be thinking of something else. Okay, anyway. Wrap is a widget similar to row or column that automatically wraps children to the next line called run. Okay. When there isn't enough vertical or horizontal space. There's fitted box, a widget that automatically fits its child into available space according to your specifications. Navigation rail doesn't automatically show labels when there's enough space because it can't know what is enough space in every context. It's up to you, the developer, to make that call. Say you decide to show labels only if my homepage is at least 600 pixels wide. So it works with logical pixels as a unit of length. There's some kinds device-independent pixels, are sometimes called that. Padding of 8 pixels is visually the same regardless of whether the app is running on an old low-res phone or newer Retina device. Okay. So they're like display pixels, basically, is what they're saying, I think. The widget to use in this case is Layout Builder. Okay. Lets you change your widget tree depending on how much available space you have. Don't tell me to use a refactor. Teach me. Really annoyed by that. Need you to... There is a video, but I just need you to show me the code here. But we'll read the explanation some more. Layout builder callback is called every time the constraints change. This happens when, for example, the user resizes the app's window. Gotcha. User rotates their phone. Some widget next to my homepage grows in size, making my homepage's constraints smaller. Makes sense. Now your code can decide whether to show the label by querying the current constraints. Make the following single line change to my homepage state's build method. So this should tell us the changes. So instead of scaffold directly, we return a layout builder. This is context and constraints, and it wraps the whole scaffold here. Might need to do that. Oops. Let's double check. No. Gonna need both of y'all. And a close paren. I might have screwed that up, but we'll fix it if we do. Okay, so layout builder, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I've got one too many. There we go. That's what's going on. Scaffold, row, children. This is all still that, except for extended is constraints dot max width greater than or equal to 600. Okay, so now, did I got some issue here? Oh, so let's double check I did mess something up here. So row expanded, close you. Your row. Expanded, child container. You get closed. And it gets closed. This gets closed. Row gets closed. This is that now. That's what's happened. There. And then if this gets tiny, it shrinkies. Cool, cool, cool. Love that. Very, very cool. Now your app responds to its environment, such as screen size, orientation, and platform. In other words, it's responsive. Cool. Remember the placeholder widget we used instead of the favorites page? Sure do. It's time to fix this. Okay. Feel adventurous, try to do this step by yourself. Let's scroll up. Don't want any spoilers. There we go. We're going to try it, see how far we get. Your goal is to show the list of favorites in a new stateless. Flutter in my GoDev stream, blasphemy, right? It is blasphemy. I won't lie. But like I was saying yesterday, I keep running into sharp edges in Cogent because it's just not ready, right? It's just too early. I still like the project and what they're doing, but it's starting to hamper me when I'm trying to figure out, like, is this a Cogent issue or am I doing something stupid, right? So I'm really thinking, and we're, you know, experimenting with Flutter to just kind of get a feel for it. I'm really thinking I might try to use it for the UI. Okay, so any language or framework that can be written in a JetBrains IDE is a good one. I don't know that you can, there's anything you can't write in a JetBrains IDE, though. In fact, I know for a fact they have a WebStorm, which is a JavaScript and front-endy focused editor. So that would imply that JavaScript and TypeScript are good languages. And I don't know if I'm willing to say that. Okay. If you feel adventurous, try to do step by yourself. Yeah. Shows the goal is to show the list of favorites in a new stateless widget. Okay. Called favorites page. And then show that widget instead of the placeholder. All right. Okay. Everything except PHP, JavaScript, TypeScript, and anything else I don't like. Love it. I haven't done that much PHP. I've done just a little bit a long time ago. So I don't connect with the hatred of it. Or the love, you know, if that's your jam. I didn't know enough to have opinions when I started looking at it early days, and then I got distracted with something else and didn't do that. Okay, so we need a stateless widget, and it's going to listen to our app state, it sounds like, because that which makes sense, because we're kind of hoisting, or we've already, just by the nature of how we built this, it's hoisted up, right, into the root state. The less the better, right? So we still can use favorites here. So we're going to kind of lean on our existing code here a little bit, but we're going to YOLO this. Let's put it down here. I don't know how I want to organize Flutter code yet. Normally I put private things and public things separately, but in this case, keeping them close to their deal seems ideal. Favorites page extends stateless widget, and let's just expand generator, because we need to remember how override and this is a widget build context is still context, I'm pretty sure. Functional code first, clean code second. Yes. Well, I mean, like, do you mean clean code in the clean code Robert Martin sense, or like in the nebulous sort of maintainable, readable sense, right? Because I think he has a lot of good ideas, and there's a lot of things that he suggests that I do try to do. But also some of it I just no. I like Primogen has talked about it a couple of times. Locality of behavior, right? And I like that as kind of like a rule of thumb. To kind of keep things that are closely related together, but also like in a Go module, for example, I tend to group the public functions up higher in the file, because you're probably looking for those first, right? And if you're drilling into private stuff, then that's all down below usually, because you're probably going to follow an IDE click there, right? So that's kind of how I tend to try to lay that out just for my brain. Being coded in the ephemeral sense of maintainability, yes. Yeah. Which, I mean, you can find, cleanliness. And I think that one of the main things Go really impressed upon me was that because Go format is so opinionated, right? Doing things the same way every time, or as much every time as possible, goes a long way to that, right? It kind of gives you a general sort of orientation within a code base where, like, okay, I just clicked into this thing. Everything up top is public and I can look at it really easy. But if I'm looking for something internal, it's probably down below, right? It's easy to kind of get that feel, as long as you stick to that and don't flippity flop it. Okay, so we have our widget build in here. We need app state still. Context watch. But this is my favorites. What did we call you? Your favorites. So why don't I have access to this? Because I'm bad at typing. That's why. I never really consider my code that organized, though I am the kind of person to make a million different files for each thing and import where needed. Okay, yeah. I do like to try to break things up if it makes sense. Till I saw an open source tool I want to contribute to, and their PyCode classes, functions, everything, it's all in one file. All the images are stored in the root of the PyScript. Total mess. Yes. Yes. And Go kind of sometimes can end up that way too, because you want to break things up, or I do. My brain always wants to break things up into separate files when they're all belong together, right? Locality of behavior. But then you end up with everything split up into the same folder, which can kind of get a little bit messy and confusing if your naming isn't really on point, which names are hard, right? So I don't love that about it, but it is nice to be able to just kind of freely pull those out at the same time. It's kind of a double-edged sword, right? But that's kind of where I try to fall back to locality of behavior in that case. Okay, I don't want to scroll. Not yet. There we go. Oh, I guess this might just be an example of a Dart thing. Yeah, okay. So there's no... Okay, they've given me spoilers ahead. I like that. That's very nice. So I can look at this without fear. Okay, so... because they have some pointers here for me. So we've got our layout here. You stay this widget. Okay, when you want a column that scrolls, use the list view widget. Okay, that's cool. I think it's a symptom of Python that it can be that easy to end up like that. But I think it's more consequential of, dare I say, an inexperienced or bad practice developer to throw everything into a folder and call it a day. I mean, I hesitate to cast those aspersions, because there are, older developers who do things in very particular ways that aren't necessarily applicable anymore. And it's more just because it's like habit and because they value that consistency, right? And also Python's ability to split up things into different packages sucks. Because to import sibling packages, you got to like path hack, and it's garbage. So like I can understand the aversion to doing that, right? Which would kind of lead you into just chucking in a folder land. It's like, do you value the Pythonic, suggestion that you shouldn't do sibling imports, or do you value the folder organization more, right? So it's hard to make a value judgment on that. Okay. So let's think about this guy. Because this is its own page, I think we want a scaffold here. Oh my gosh. And then is it body? I think it's body is a list view widget. Yeah, that's true. I just make a PR with the actual fixes and let the structure be what they want. Yeah, right. And that's kind of like the um etiquette is kind of not the right word, but like just like the standard practice is you follow conventions that are established in the existing code base, right? So it's hard to go wrong with that as a approach. And if it is wrong, then they can comment in your PR, After all the hate I throw at leak code for everything being a hash map, I actually need to implement a hash map to make the tool significantly more efficient. I mean, they're useful, right? In a lot of cases. My hate for leak code is just that I'm not interested in CS puzzles. I'm interested in making things. So I don't want to do it, and therefore I hate it. Access the my app state instance from any widget using context.watch. Okay, we did that. We broke it out. I don't know if that's what we want or not, but we're YOLOing, so. And then so in here we can say for favorite, let's just say in favorites, this is just tab indented? Weird. Oh, I need a var here. Oops. But I also can't do, I need to do to lowercase here. Except for I can do that. How are we doing that up here? Was it not a call? No, it was as lowercase. That's what it was. Because that's a method on this word pair class. Okay. Let's see how close we got here. We forgot that this needs to be my home page. We called you favorites page. So up, not there. It's gonna be in the layout builder. page. It's up here. Not placeholder anymore, but favorites page. Favorites, there's nothing because we need some, and there we go. We have them in a list. Let's see how close we got to what they want. We probably want these to be like buttons so we can click them off or something, but like... Let's just double check here. Do you have any other stuff? Anything in the pointers? If you also want to try a new widget, list tile has properties like tile, generally for text, leading for icons or avatars, and on tap for interactions. However, you can achieve similar effects with the widgets you already know. Let's try that. I bet you that will make these clickable. Recently, I moved to Fedora 42 plus Hyperland on my laptop. Was GNOME, but my RAM. Finding a solution for Office non-web app version on Linux completely pushed me over the line for it. I'm confused by that because I always forget which one is it. It's LibreOffice now. LibreOffice is the one that's current, I believe. That runs on GNOME and everything. So instead of text, we're going to do list tile here. Microsoft specifically. I must be missing something. What do you... like a solution for Microsoft Office, right? That's not a web app. Like to open Microsoft Office files, right? Able to use desktop versions of MS Office yet? Yeah, LibreOffice opens all of them as far as I'm aware. I don't do a ton of that myself, but that's what I've used for everything. For quite a while now. So we can't do this now, but they do have some stuff for us here. Properties like title. So that's going to be our title. And we'll have leading for icon, which will be dot favorite. Okay, maybe not. Do we need to do wrap this like this? Okay. This is title, not tile. Except this needs to be a widget as well. So we'll make it a text widget. Good thing I don't need any workarounds for JetBrains, my beloved. Right, yeah. That was kind of what got me into JetBrains. It being cross-platform was very compelling to me. Because it was the option that I had used it previously for PyCharm, and I enjoyed PyCharm at work. I didn't want to use VS Code anymore. And like the options on Linux were kind of not great. I've used KDevelop, I think is what it's called. It's a KDE IDE, and it's okay. I did a lot of work with it. But it's kind of, it's a Linux app, right? It's a Linux alternative to a thing where it tries to be a lot of different things and they're all a little bit off. And I was like, you know, I really just want a good, solid, familiar experience over in the Linux world. So JetBrains it is, because they're cross-platform. Okay. And then we can also do on tap for interactions. So on tap, what we can do is favorite. We'll do an anonymous callback here. It's not that, it's comma. In here, we do dot toggle favorite, the favorite. I must have messed that up somehow. App state toggle favorites. Just happy to get away from VS Code Electron Hell. Right, yeah. Oh, because toggle favorite doesn't take an argument. Right. Ooh. So we can't do that. We would have to change this. We can do opstate dot. So that we don't need this argument then. Favorites dot remove favorite. There. That should get us the ability to. Whoop. Oh, we forgot. We would have to do an update. And this might be something we want to put up here, but we would need to notify listeners. Notify listeners isn't assigned. Oh, for the type. Okay. So we would probably need to move a func up here to do that. Let's see what they want us to do before we dive into that. Like, it would, you know what? No, what? I'm going to do it. Remove favorite. Favorite. And I do this? No. Oh. That way. This just says that. And then that. And then we can call this again. And we do remove favorite. No? Void function dynamic. Oh, we can't. Okay, so it just has to be this. That should be fine though, because this is a closure. For all the good people talk about Neo Vim, I just cannot bring myself to try it for any extended period of time. Yeah. Like I feel the pull. Like I understand the appeal of it, right? I just don't want to invest the time to learn it well enough to use as an IDE. Like I can use it to edit config files. I'm reasonably comfortable with that, and that's fine for me, right? I don't want to invest the time to learn it better, to use it as an IDE, but also to customize it to work with and to have things that I want, like an LSP, right? That's too much time sunk in messing with tools that I don't really want to invest, right? I will get there the day they don't allow me to turn off all the AI crap that they keep putting into JetBrains products, which I hate it, but I get it. Like they feel the need to do it to be competitive, right? But I hate it. I'm just glad I can turn it off. Oh, actually, that reminds me. I need to double check. I was reviewing the footage to make sure I didn't dox myself yesterday. Okay, yeah, AI assist is turned off. Good, good. It must have turned off when I disabled some of the other dependencies. Do not want that crap. Okay, so there we go. Remove favorites. So if we come in here and we like a couple things, go to favorites, we see them, bop, 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 love it, right? Let's see how close we got to what they think we should have done. If you're more familiar with functional programming, no. No, I'm not. As soon as somebody says monad, my eyes roll. We're just going to skip that. You can do map things. That's fine. What follows is just one way to implement the favorites page. How it's implemented will hopefully inspire you to play with the code, improve the UI, and make it your own. Well, we already made our own, but I'm interested in what you think I should do. Let's pull you over. Here we go. So, favorites page, stateless widget, override. We did the build. Oh, okay, so they didn't pull a favorites variable out. I don't know if there's any performance change there or not. I'm fine with that. Oh, okay, so they did that. I like this, actually. This is good UI. We're going to grab that real quick. That goes in, just in build after the state. We just say if favorites is empty, return a center widget. Child is just a text. Says no favorites yet. I like that. Oh, I forgot. We need parens around the if. Let's give that a shot real quick. No favorites yet. Yeah, that's good. What's Flutter? It's a cross-platform UI thingamajigger. Framework, you might call it. This is Flutter. And this. Okay, let's grab this. Native compiled. Yes, it does build for native. For desktop apps. Yeah, you bet. We're exploring and running through this tutorial because it's my second day with Flutter ever. And so far, I mean, this is... I mean, I have some issues with the tutorial, some gripes, but it's not bad. I kind of like it. I can feel its influence on Cogent for sure. React plus old JS classes, or little React plus old JS classes. I haven't done a massive amount of React. There is some stuff that feels a little bit familiar to the little bit of React I've done. Visually, yeah, okay, gotcha, yeah. Yeah, it does. I mean, it's material, right? Material design, so that's where it came from. So very much in that same vein. For now. See where we get. Okay, so they actually didn't return a scaffold. I thought we needed to. But I'm happy to take that out if we don't need it. Less code, better, right? Yank that. Children is still that. Oh, they did a padding and some labeling. Okay, that's cool. We can do that. Happy to have that in. Padding. Const edge insets all. or engines that's not all. 20. Child text widget. You have, and they've done this funky double line thing. Let's see how that looks. This is favorites length, favorites, and then a comma there, comma here. Let's just check and see how that looks. Okay. It's a bit declarative looking. As a non-UI guy, it's all kind of like I don't have intelligent things to say about that. It looks a lot like what little bit of React I have done. You kind of just, yeah, declare what you want it to end up looking like and let the framework work. But that's about as far as I can get. Intelligently. UI, why can't customers hit our API themselves, right? Same, it reads a bit more like CSS. Flutter does? I guess I can kind of see that. These are just, these are like properties of this class, right? The syntax is kind of a little bit weird. I'm a little confused what this padding, I guess that just scooches it in a little bit. It has colons, therefore CSS. You have a colon. Does that make you CSS? CSS is my epitome of declarative. Gotcha. Oh God. We're all CSS. I'm gonna get it removed. Nice. The horrors, right? Maybe the real body tax was us the whole time. Okay. So then they did that. We did ours a little different. Oh God. Yeah, Twitch formatting, not a thing. Twitch chat will murder it. Godspeed. Appreciate ya. Okay, so list tile, we did that. Leading icons is that. They didn't do our on tap yet. But the rest of it, yeah, we got there. We were really close. I'm happy with that. Here's what the widget does. I understand what the widget does well enough to write it, so I'm going to skip that. Let me just double check. I'm just going to gloss over it here. Bop, 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 bop. Yep. Okay. Took a non-functional scaffold with column 2 text widgets, made it a responsive, delightful little app. Delightful. I'm not going to sign in, you goof. Okay, so there is... Oh, there's a bunch of fancy stuff. I don't want to do a fancy... There's a dart pad. Let's just look at what they did. Well, it seems to be broken. So that's cool. You gross, Gemini. Okay. Oh, wait, there it goes. It just took its sweet time. So what did they do that we didn't? Let's... Oh, they did a little boop, boop, boop. Oh, they give a history. Okay. And then if it's favorited, then we tag it. Okay. And then it fades out. Okay. Fancy. Oh, and then they did this differently. Okay. That's fine. Let's see here. So they added a new state for history. Cool. Global key would be null. History list key. You're not. Oh no. I've thrown you off the edge. You're not showing up on. Oh my gosh. You're not in the correct place. There we go. So this could be null. Anybody have any experience with the Proton ecosystem? Considering it since it avoids me paying as I do now for everything separately and has a family deal that makes it really well priced, 8 freedom bucks per used per month. Yes, I use Proton Mail. I am reasonably happy with it. I use the drive a little bit, not a ton. Also reasonably happy with it. Their Linux apps kind of suck. They're very clearly not first class citizens. Okay. Theme data, use material 3. That looks a little different. I bet you there's fancy stuff in there instead of just regular. Expected, I guess. Yeah, kind of. I mean, kind of expected, but also kind of not, right? Because of the way they sort of position themselves in marketing. Their Android apps are also a little bit janky, but those have gotten better. The Linux apps have just been left neglected. But I use them all from the website anyway, so expected in a general sense, yeah. Small market share for now. A bit poor for who they are, but overall it's the status quo. Yeah, exactly. So they did get next, toggle favorite. Yeah. Oh look, they did exactly what we did. That makes me feel good. Like I understood, right? Understood the assignment. Okay, generated favorite. That's all the same still. Main area, colored box. Container for the current page with its background color and subtle switching animation. How is that? This lives in the build for my homepage state. Confused. Small market share until Windows 12 drops with forced AI hand holding out of the box, and your screen is screenshotted and uploaded to the cloud every 10 seconds unless you turn it off. Wait, that's just Windows 11. Yes. Yeah, a lot of people are really unhappy. There's that, and what is it? It's not SCM. Whatever the encryption chip is, or not encryption, but I can't remember the heck it's called now. The thing that older computers don't have that isn't necessary, but Windows 12 is going to mandate. or 11 patch or whatever. I haven't followed. TPM, thank you. That was going to drive me insane. Yeah. It's already made it. Okay, so I must have been seeing somebody mad because... No, I don't remember why then, because it had come back up again. Like, I remember early in 11's life cycle, people were talking about that. I bet you things are just aging out of support, and so it's a forced upgrade now. But I heard a lot of people were being pretty upset about that because, like, there's no path for them to keep using equipment that they want that are still perfectly good. Common tools like Rufus will prompt you to disable TPM. Yeah. You can disable it for other operating systems, but the kerfluffle, such as it was, is people that are Windows users still, right? Where I believe it's because they're aging out of support or whatever they're running now, and their only options are to buy a new device, and a lot of them don't want to because it's expensive and their thing works fine for them, or to install Linux because they won't be able to upgrade, or to continue using the deprecated OS, which they don't want, right? The container for the current page with its background color and subtle switching animation. Where is the switching animation, I wonder? Main color scheme surface variant, which is deprecated, but okay, that's fine. Animated switcher. I don't see a switcher. Is it right click? No. Huh. I don't know. I'm on Windows on my desktop purely for a few games, which I don't play much anymore, so I'll probably delete what I don't need, back up what I want to keep, and migrate over. Gotcha. What games are not supported anymore, or still not supported, I guess I should say? Because, like, Proton's really good right now. It has been for a while, but... Scaffold, layout, builder, okay. Expanded child main area. Okay, that's the same thing, I believe. Safe area. This is just put at the bottom before. Bottom navigation bar. I don't see a bottom navigation bar. Only game I do play actively needs Windows is Rainbow Six Siege because of Battle Line. The general consensus is they just haven't ticked the boxes. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I haven't played Siege since I jumped over. I forgot about that one. I wasn't like a massive Siege player either, so I just let it ride. There's that one, Destiny 2 that I played a little bit before I jumped, which runs just fine. It's just that they're assholes, right? And they ban you even for no reason. But that's fine. Their content policy sucks anyway, where old stuff goes away, right? Which I haven't played since it was new, so like I would be experiencing all the old content or wanting to if I could run it. But I just don't care. I think the only one that really, not really bothers me, but makes me disappointed is Space Engineers, which gets a little bit closer like every year to running, but it's a custom engine, so weird stuff happens. Okay. So I don't see a lot of the things that theoretically this should have that are different, which is very confusing to me. And I'm not sure if that is a dart pad issue or if I'm dumb. Because if it's a bottom navigation bar, it should be on the bottom, I would think, right? Let me go. Am I confused? Yeah, this is a navigation rail. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's I wish that would stop doing that. What if we made you smaller? Then you would go into the bottom, I see. Space Engineers barely runs on Windows at the best of times. Yes. I mean, you're not wrong. You've used the sarcasm tag, but you're not wrong. It's still like their survival gameplay is still weak from what I've seen. But like it's the best buildy spacey sort of game like it that I've seen yet, right? There's another one it was kind of like a little indie game that came out in a similar time called Empyrean Galactic Survival, and its graphics are awful because it's a tiny little indie game, right? But they have like a huge procedurally generated universe, and their survival game is way better, but the building is very much just basic placey place voxely, you know. If the two were together, that would be a banger, but I'll just put it on my list, things I need to build, right? Ultimate space survival game. Okay. I was looking for the generator page. We're looking for the toppy slidey guy. Expanded Flex 3, okay. I guess we have Flexbox type stuff. History list view. So that is here. It's a stateful widget. Building voxel space engineers and co. Mandatory hash maps required, right? I would not do that. I'm not that insane. Okay. Needed so that my app state can tell animate a list below to animate new items. Okay. This is a private variable. That's final called key. Fade out the history items at the top to suggest continuation. It's a gradient. That's a masking gradient. Linear gradient widget. Fully transparent to fully opaque black. Okay, so start and end from the top at 0.5 stops. Okay. Alignment top center. Boop. Alignment bottom center. Wonder if you could do that. Just for funsies. I broke it. Oh, that might reload the... So need run. Guess we don't get hot reload in Dart Pad. It's still broken. What did I mess up? Oh, no, it was top center. Whoops. I think Dart Pad's a little janky. Oh, duh. Because I'm an idiot, that's why. Never mind. I'm janky. It's on me. Let's see. So, top left. Let's just say. And then we did next. Okay, then it doesn't really fade out. Probably because these guys are centered. This shader mask is interesting. Yeah, it fixes that. Okay. All right. Well, I think I'm done playing around with that for now. That was educational, kind of. There's a lot of cool things we can do. That's what I'm learning. I thought there was another back here real quick. Oh, this is step part 2. Okay. What was the building first? Part 1. Takes me to the same page. Okay. So let's see. What else is there that we might material design stuff? Flutter cookbook, a set of articles on networking. Okay. We don't need that. Navigate, testing. Let's take a look at the testing. I guess unit testing is not a thing we can learn about. Testing Flutter apps. We can do that at least. I'm interested in what facilities they have. Integration is the highest. Okay. Widget higher, unit low. Interesting. That's like backwards, but it's UI, so I guess that makes sense. Widget tests. Appropriate widget lifecycle content. So what does this look like? Create a widget to test. Test widgets test. Wait tester pump widgets. What? Build my widget inside the test environment by using pump widget. Okay, I see. That's a test thing. Testing on the front end. Okay, choke's over, guys. Don't jump scare me like that. Test all the things. Okay, and so create a my widget instance that displays T as the title and M as the message. Which in here, title and message. These use finals though in the widget. How would we test a more a matcher? Find text, find text. That still doesn't really tell me. Like that's all well and good if you store variables in there, but what about like what we were doing? How did we test our widget? You know? I don't want concepts, I don't think. Great estate. This is just the actual widget. Okay, integration test dependency. Do that. Pub spec it. Okay, integration test is to use Flutter. Okay, here's the test. So we pump widget, my app, find text, finds one widget. Okay. So we can emulate a tap. That's educational and useful. Pump and settle. Okay, that triggers a frame. Verify the counter increments by 1. Okay. Interesting. I don't want to test on a service. I just want to test things if it makes sense, right? I don't know how much of our stuff we can really make meaningful tests for. But I do like a lot of what I'm seeing here from Flutter. Let's look at the samples gallery again. I still think I want to do a small but not trivial project in it to sort of start playing with it a little bit before I fully commit to YOLO rewriting, right? Wait, what are we... I thought I clicked on samples gallery. This just takes me to resources. I guess these are the samples. I was more thinking of looking again at sample apps. See if there's more of them, but I mean, this is still good. Game services package to add leaderboard functionality to your mobile game. Okay. Aimed routes. Animated widget using a physics simulation. That's kind of cool. What the heck I'd use it for, but it's cool. How about, do they have, can I search just, I can. Custom icon, no. Nothing in icons. I try to look at regular docs for that. How about embedded? No. Okay. Probably regular docs for that too. But an embedded file. Embedding web content, I guess, might be a place to start. This is HTML stuff. App and plugin creation deprecation. How about just file in Flutter? Read and write files. Let's take a look at that. Path Provider plugin with the Dart.io library. Waiting a local path. Okay. So it looks like there's pretty robust support for this, which is a thing we would need. I'm gonna figure out what I want to build as a small project. Nothing huge. Just doesn't work with web apps at this time. Okay, that's fine. Assets and media. Oh, okay, yeah. So this is how you would do embedded stuff. Like an embedded FS type. Include a directory, okay. It's not bad. As to a special archive called the asset bundle. Apps read from it runtime. Gotcha, okay. My icon ping. So that's how you would do the custom icons. How about making my own widget? Custom widget. You just look at widgets. Everything's a widget. Yeah. I guess, yeah. We already know how to, we just extend instead of this widget. I was thinking more like for, how would I rebuild the map tiles, right? But I guess that would just be like the same basic pieces. It just have children, bop, 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 and probably have to do some wrapping or something to put them in the right places. Is there a rows, let's just say? That's a spreadsheet program of some kind. Not what I want. Oh, create a grid list. That might be okay. Yeah, grid. 2 axes. So that's 2 columns. Scroll direction to horizontal. This produces 2 rows. Okay. I mean, we can get rid of columns, I think. Return center, child text. Here's an interactive example. So this is 2 columns. And then if we were to do... Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, perfect. If we were to just change this, for example, to 3. Run. It would take a little while. There we go. And then it would be pop, pop, pop. Perfect. Okay. Like, I really think all the building pieces are there for what we already have and want. Got to figure out what I want to do for that test project still. But that is 2 hours for today. So I'm going to go do all my chores and crap. So thank you everybody who came and hung out. Oh, I've gotten all blurry. Cool. We outro with blurs. So thanks everybody who came and hung out. Really appreciate that. If you like this kind of thing, I should be back doing it in tomorrow. And I'm dying currently. Hang on. Lingering cough. Okay. I'm out of here. Come back tomorrow, same time. I'll do it again.